Did you hear that?
I couldn't hear a thing. You hear that?
I couldn't hear a thing.
What is this devil?
I am greeting you, my lovely people, to yet another one of my thoughts upon videos. I hope that you find your stay quite pleasant. This time around we shall be looking at a somewhat sneaky escort fest of a game called Shadwen. Are we going to be subjective? Why, certainly, and of course on PC as always. Shadwen is a stealth video game developed and published by Frozen Byte for PC and PlayStation 4, and it was released on the 17th of May 2016. Here is how the developers describe it. Shadwen is a third-person stealth action game where the only rule is to remain unseen. Stay hidden, or the ruthless guards will kill you on sight. Shadwen, an assassin on a quest to kill the king, has a chance encounter with an orphaned girl, Lily. She follows Shadwen on her dangerous journeys, but when the ruthless guards get too close, Shadwen must take action right in front of Lily's eyes. Will Shadwen risk the girl's budding trust by escorting her to violence, or try to find another way while keeping her real purpose concealed? To kill or not to kill? That is the question. Well, to be honest, there is no question, no story, no question, no intelligent life forms, and soon there will not be a king there as well. But I might be getting a bit ahead of myself here. Now, regarding the story of the game, there really isn't much to speak of, at least more than what the developers have already stated here. It is as blatant as described. Shadwen is out to kill the king, but for whatever reason decides to take a freaking 13 to 15-year-old orphan along for the assassination ride. It just makes no sense. And don't you dare try to drop the bomb on me that the kid just refused not to follow her. Jesus, she is an assassin. Just kill the kid so you could go on about your stuff and not jeopardize the whole mission for it. Or if you are not that cold-blooded, then there are millions of opportunities to ditch the kid. Really, ditching Lily, and that's the name of the orphan, is just one grappling hook swing away. And trust me, we will get back to that later. So, the gameplay of Shadwen revolves around the third-person stealth idea, where you essentially go from one camp location with guards to another, trying to get Lily to the finish line without getting yourself killed. Lily only moves when no one sees her, but that is bugged out beyond belief. Let us roll the clip. See for yourself.
I think it was burnt with all the other dead.
What, he didn't get a proper grave? It was nothing after all.
To aid you in your quest, you have a small sword, which you can use to assassinate the guards, a grappling hook, which can be used while grappling hard to reach places and dragging objects around, and a whole bunch of items, which can be crafted should you find the necessary schematics and parts for them. The game also sports a feature that you can rewind the time at free will. This makes the longer levels bearable, which would otherwise be nerve-wrack fests. But the main mechanic of the game is that the time only moves when Shadwen moves. You can press the Q button to advance time normally, but without it, if you are staying put, everything is paused. Exactly like in Superhot, only in third person. The presentation of Shadwen is, well, nothing really special. It is a Unity engine title, and it shows pretty badly. I mean, straight from the startup, you are greeted with tons of issues like the game starting up on an incorrect screen. In order to work around it, the game has to start as windowed, so you need to drag the window over to correct monitor quickly and maximize it, otherwise it will be placed somewhere at random and you will not be able to play or resize it any further. Yeah, that's really fun. Other major killjoy issue is that game is so freaking dark that it's really hard to see most of the things at all. And it really does not help that the brightness slider does fuck none at all in the settings menu. Did someone even test this prior to release? I mean, you're having major issues with the game if your player base is having issues just starting up the damn thing. Not to mention that 75% of the times the game does not even close properly and is left running in the memory, in which case you need to head over to the task manager to get rid of it. And then there are the glitches. Whilst nothing game-breaking, there are still a few really noticeable ones like, well, this for an example. Looks like Shadwen really enjoys air planking of sorts. Also to mention, it is a hell of an annoyance if the grapple fails to pull you off from a ledge, which happens around 50% of the time. Then there are the guards, which freak out from time to time besides walking around weirdly. They start doing nothing but looping against a single corner. That's just weird. Other stuff is not as important, but if someone wants to know more, then okay, here's a pointless one. Shadwen doesn't even get wet when going for a swim. Unity engine, I mean, God bless. Voices in the game, well, they're nothing special. Mediocre, not extremely annoying, nothing worth giving out prizes for. Same goes for the music, which was just a bit of ambience. Now that I think of it, I can't even recall it at all. That is exactly how mediocre it was. So, regarding the whole experience for playing Shadwen, I think I need a drink for this. Okay, so, my experience going through Shadwen, it was mediocre. The whole game just screams mediocre. And I'm sorry, but that's exactly what this game makes me feel. As you go through the game, you will get punished for killing guards, and when Lily sees the bodies, telling you that you will not get a good ending, well, that's just lovely. I can't even drop barrels on the enemies and call it an accident, because Lily will get upset. I mean, what the Seriously, it feels like the game tries to punish you for having fun and experiment. And whilst we're on the topic of Lily, oh god, to be honest, this game only shines in its tutorial mission, because then you are riding solo. Other than that, the game itself is just one big escort quest, and I don't know anyone who really enjoys an escort quest. It really doesn't help that it makes no sense to have Lily coming along. I mean, think about it. Why on earth would you take a kid along to your assassination mission? Especially when you're going to try to murder a king. A king, for crying out loud. I don't care what she tells you, you don't bring a kid to a goddamn assassination mission. Especially when you're going after the king. Now, from the gameplay's perspective, it is thought that Lily would help you with opening gates which have two levers on each side of the gate, very conveniently. But if that is so, then that means that Shadwen is an utter failure as an assassin on her own. Was she really going to try to murder the king following the same path and then run into gates which require two persons to open them? Or would she have taken a different route? If she would have taken a different route, then that's yet another reason to ditch the kid. I'm sorry, but I just hate escort missions and this whole game is one. And if that is not enough, remember how I said that the story of the game is just, well, a bit lacking. Well, too bad, son. The character development is even worse. It is barely non-existent. Nothing happens, no one actually develops as a character, so you could even care a little bit about them. No, they're both just some assets put into the game for the sake of being characters. I will give this to devs though. Shadwen's model looks good and interesting. I would love to have another game where she would be as a playable character, but only due to an interesting character model, nothing else. What more caught my eye during the playthrough? Well, it became obvious that Shadwen is an absolute Rambo with her grappling hook, as she was able to pull 5 to 6 crates twice her size with minimal effort, but has no idea on how to ditch bodies properly. It was painfully awkward trying to drop a body off a balcony or anywhere that was higher than the ground level. She just doesn't know how. The best I could do is try to glitch the body whilst grabbing and ungrabbing it from the feet, and then it barely worked. Try doing that whilst keeping Lily busy, so that she doesn't come your way and say, "Oh no!" Yes, you will hate that sound by the end of the game, and if you don't at the moment, you will learn how to hate it. Also, what is up with the grappling hook and the gadgets in this game? There are some doors which have sliding wooden locks. No, it's literally a wooden plank which needs to be slid off the door to unlock it. Shadwen cannot even do that by hand and has to use the grappling hook to do so. Why? Is she afraid that she will leave fingerprints or something? And then there are the gadgets which you can craft. Absolutely useless waste of time. I played through the whole game whilst never actually needing a gadget to use. So at the end of the game, I just crafted some to see what they did and if they worked and how they worked. But as you never really need them during your game, then they are just a useless waste of time or a distraction at best. On that note, if you're gonna add a distraction contraptions to your game, why not implement an elementary system for picking up a wine bottle, for an example, and throwing it to distract an enemy? There were crap ton of bottles lying around, but none of them was actually usable or throwable. And to finish these mediocre thoughts off about this mediocre game, the ending. Guys, if you don't want spoilers, then turn off your volume for the next 20 seconds or so, but honestly, you would not gain anything from it. Just as you might think, there are no twists, no news, nothing special about the ending. You just get 2 options: kill the king or spare the king. That's it. Then Shadwen and Lily go their separate ways or venture off together, depending on whether you have killed during your gameplay and Lily has seen it, and depending on the choice you have made at the end of the game. Nothing really special. Very lackluster. Okay, it's time to stop this rambling and wrap things up. So, what did I think about Shadwen? It had so high expectations set for me when it was first announced, and I do feel terrible that it has come crashing down like this. But I just cannot get around the mediocrity and the issues with the game. It does need to be said though that the brightness issues and the startup issues were related to the Linux build of the game, and there were no such issues under Windows. But that doesn't really mean anything. You make your game supported on a platform, you better step up your game to make sure that it actually works and, you know, is supported there. Would I recommend anyone Shadwen? For the full price of €17.99? Ah, hell no! But as it is on sale frequently, well, then yeah. If you just need to waste some time and you're into the stealth genre games, there are not many good looking stealth games for Linux. So if you're coming from that direction, then might be a decent buy actually when it's on sale, if you manage to look past the issues that it has. It took me around 6 hours to complete the game, and that included around 1 hour of troubleshooting time, so 5 hours of gameplay maybe. Think of it as you will. But with that in mind, guys, I would like to thank you very much for sticking around for this whole long video, and hopefully you have enjoyed my rant regarding Shadwen. And if you enjoyed this, then there are some other videos that might interest you, which I made in the past. But until next time, my friends, may you have a great day, and don't let the shadows consume you. Bye bye.
What on earth is going on?
There was a noise.